Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Chainlink here, taking a look closer to $28 as we speak. We were roughly at this price point yesterday, in fact, with this bullish type of flag pattern, where it was kind of breaking in. It did break out a lot quicker than expected. In fact, I was driving while it came down to this $27 mark, my original intended entry, and of course, it never came back down, obviously. So cool thing is we're getting back into that range. So the question I'm getting a lot is, do we get back in at $27, $28 here, or do we just consider letting it continue lower? There's a lot of different ways or schools of thought that we could kind of look into, but we'll start with liquidation and work our way down and kind of just make sure that we're on the right track first before we get too out of sorts. In other words, try not to let FOMO be your guide, but also this coin does feel like it's ready to continue higher, or more important, maintain its current range and progress upwards. So let's talk about that. So let's quickly look at liquidation last 7 days on the left hand side first, and we can just recognize it's kind of sparse. It's going everywhere. For the most part, there's heavy levels at different price points, not just like one specific place. But having said that, though, low $26 is that heaviest concentration there, and then locally here we got like 27.50 or 27.40 as a potential next area. So it just kind of gives us indications of where people are, shorts, where shorts and longs are kind of held at. And if we look at the macro here, roughly the same scenario. We do see, 26 is that confirming area there, where heaven forbid we lose 27. I think low 26 would make sense. That'd be a great consideration for entry there. Again, just based on liquidation alone. We don't take trades based on that, but the important thing is to recognize that this is still relevant, and we want to make sure to be mindful of it. When we look at the liquidation delta, we have longs and shorts both equally taking positions right now. So there's no like heavy overflow in either direction, which is kind of good in my personal opinion. It usually just implies that you're good in the range that you're in, because the likelihood of further upside is greater due to the fact that there's less opposition, right? But this also kind of tells us we're at this indecisive potential transition right now too. So a lot of times, when you see this happen, it can be best to wait for the price action to establish a direction first, and then go on that trend. Obviously, the overall trend right now is up for Link, but it's still not it's not guaranteed, right? Or more importantly, are we closer to the top? Are we at a point where the price could pull back? Let's take a quick peek at open interest here and just double check where the price action is at. For the most part, people are pretty heavy at about 28.30. So those folks are underwater right now at this point, just a little bit. And obviously previous to that, 27 and 26, look at that right there, right in that little support range I described yesterday is a good place to consider entry. So let's talk about that. Daily time frame, first of all, work our way down, and then we'll address if it's worthwhile or not to take a long or a short. So 101.5 for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is doing pretty well. Just to kind of clarify, give you some preface here. It's working well within its little range, but it's trying to break free from its bullish flag type of channel here. So if that continues to occur and we shoot towards 104, 105, which is a distinct probability based on liquidation for Bitcoin, Chainlink could very well follow suit. So let's double check here though. Daily time frame, we're above all moving averages. There's nothing here that's going to be bearish. We did break below, or just kind of more importantly, tentatively rejected off 70 on the RSI, telling us that we're within that resistance range. We need a lot more volume to be able to get through this threshold. Money flow index is high though, so that tells us we got a lot of money flowing into this coin versus flowing out, and that's just generally positive when the price action is in this type of state here, right? And as far as like highs are concerned, we want to recognize that $30, as I mentioned previously, is somewhat of a resistance range based on a lot of consistent candlestick closures. That was mostly, I think that was a monthly candlestick closure is where that comes from. And we can see here so far, again, I know it's tentative, when we wicked above it, we still didn't close above it, right? Candlestick closure above that level is definitely something you want to see in order to confirm further upside. For right now though, minus that little caveat there, MACD's still converging, stochastic swinging up. There's a lot of reasons here from a macro point of view that the price is more likely to continue higher up. 4-hour time frame can maybe indicate some transitional effects here, and we can see MACD start to diverge here, as well as stochastic swinging down. And then of course we got this guy here, the RSI kind of tapering off as well. So these aren't bearish signs at all. It's just from a momentum standpoint, it's telling us that we're starting to lose that momentum, and the likelihood of the price continuing lower is slightly higher. But I wouldn't say that's the overall sentiment. We're still above 50 in the RSI. We're over every single moving average. You don't want to short into moving averages like this here, because those are trend setters, kind of letting us know we're on the right side of tracks. In other words, taking a long versus a short makes a lot more sense. However, we take a look at the hourly. We don't want to just be blindly taking a long. We got the conversion line and the baseline has shifted gears, so that tells us there's momentum to the downside. We look at TD sequential, we are overextended, so a pivot or a bounce from here would make sense. But if we do look here though, we're above the cloud, which is positive, but the lag and span's not free and clear. So what I basically just told you is that there's a lot of confusion, so to speak. This indicator is really good about kind of giving you an established direction, or letting you know when that established direction is ended in a very conservative manner. In other words, lag and span being within the price action usually implies you should have taken profits on your long position, and you want to wait for a short. And hypothetically, a short position could come, a few days from now if we close below, just say $27. But we're still above the cloud. We're going to probably be above or within the cloud for the next day or two. So it's still very premature to say that you should take a short. What isn't premature is that, we're above a lot of support. We have a lot of confirming factors, and that the fact of the matter is the price should go up before it goes down. That's what these things are telling us. But you do got to recognize this coin's been, pretty strong recently. If Bitcoin does correct itself, it could correct itself too. I mean, give you perspective, when Bitcoin corrected itself recently, we saw about a 28% correction over about a 24-hour period. So this coin is very susceptible to pulling back. So if you do trade with a long position, simple as this, just make sure you use a good proper risk tolerance. Put a stop loss just below this local high, which is now the new low at 2670 roughly. Or you could even say $27, and then see what happens. But again, a lot of this hinges on Bitcoin too, because even though Chainlink's done very well for itself, if Bitcoin pulls back, we got to respect the fact that Chainlink will probably do the same thing. Anyways, I'll post a playout chart here on our Twitter, Telegram, Discord here shortly. I'll update our fib levels and kind of give you some perspective on where I think this might go. I'll try to identify any patterns if they're present. I'll post that over here on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. In the meantime, make sure you check out Bitunix, folks. Our community loves them. We've been using them for over a year. No KYC or VPN required, and they have a significant deposit bonus this month. So every month they offer different trading competitions too. It's really cool. So I'm thankful for them being part of our community. So appreciate you, and I appreciate everything else you do for me. Thanks again for being an awesome part of my life. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Take care.